It's time for Push to Play, your weekly trophy podcast and all things PlayStation with CJ and Unknown.
Welcome everybody to episode 7 of Push to Plat. I'm Mr. Unknown 625 and guest of Pelzio.
Yo.
Co-host CJ.
Hey guys.
Everyone. What? Are you trying to talk over my intro?
Sorry, Unknown. Carry on.
Alright, so thanks for everyone for stopping by and have watched us or listened to us previously. Or if you're new, Let's get started.
Perfect. Thank you for taking over the intro today, Unknown. That was awesome. I'm going to book you to do that again.
You could not, you kind of messed me up. You threw me on tilt there.
I'm sorry.
I was like, you just had to put words in there.
Well, you know I love the sound of my own voice, so I had to get it in there quick.
You didn't want the intro taken over by me.
Right.
Even though, before we started, it was CJ's
you.
idea that I did the intro. And then, as soon as I started talking, he's like, oh, shoot, bad idea. I need to send my returning listener and voyage lines.
Yes, that's right. I love those lines. I think next week, listeners, when you tune in, I probably won't be here at all. He'll have got rid of me. We'll have to wait and see. I'd like to second your welcome to Pelzio. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Just before we start, I didn't mention this when we were talking before, but I'm going to mention it now. Hopefully this doesn't make you too uncomfortable, but I do love an English accent, so I'm going to enjoy this very much.
No.
You've got the right type of accent. I don't like them all, but I like your one. So there you go. I've probably put you off center a little bit now. So now we could definitely start. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your gaming history?
I suppose the main reason I ever got into gaming was because my older brother was. So obviously he got a little brother. He's just man, I want to get him into gaming as well. So he ended up convincing my mum to get me a Game Boy when I was little, when I had Pokemon Yellow. So that was the first game I ever actually played. Later on, I got a PlayStation 1, got some games for that Final Fantasy 7, Bust a Move, if you ever played that. Parappa the Rapper.
I love Bust a Move.
Bust a Move was great. I haven't played that in a while.
It was.
But yeah, then I just ended up just getting really into games, so I guess my brother really succeeded on that part.
Is your brother...
And then I moved on. Is my brother what?
Still into games, or did he move on?
Oh yeah, no, he's very much still into games. He's got his PS4 and everything.
So now you play sort of multiple systems, or are you just a PlayStation gamer, or?
I basically play everything except Xbox One.
See,
I don't
think
CJ, because I got
that's fine because CJ plays mostly Xbox One, so the combination.
Let's see if my contacts at Microsoft can sort you out there.
Oh man, they're gonna give him a free Xbox One. Then he thanks them, turns around and sells it, and then I don't know, buy something nice.
So you're on the evil PC as well?
Yeah, I've got quite an overkill PC because I usually play a lot of this rhythm game called Osu on it, which I did a lot before I did trophy hunting. And Overwatch. I actually used to play a lot of Overwatch on PC as well. But besides that, I primarily try and do everything PS4 when I can.
Can I ask you, it's OSU, is that right? The game you just mentioned? Yeah, so this is a music rhythm game, is that correct? Or how do you describe that?
Yeah, it's only on PC because I guess it wouldn't really translate well to console. Basically, the objective of it is that you have to move your cursor and then just hit circles into the beat. But you can never get that kind of precision with a controller or motion controls. So that's why it just works so well on PC.
CJ, you never heard of Osu, CJ?
Not until the other day. No, I hadn't. But what's interesting is it's made by an Australian company. It's not. I assumed.
So how have you not heard of it?
I assumed it was a Japanese game. Are all the songs in Japanese, or is it a mix of everything?
Well, It's all user created stuff. So like they
Oh,
just upload
okay.
songs and they make their own maps. So it's mostly Japanese stuff because it's got quite a hefty anime community behind it.
Mm.
Yeah, like the creator of it is Dean Herbert, I think, who's an Australian, but he lives in Japan at the moment, I
Mm.
believe. He was also the
That makes
creator
sense.
of Push, like that file sharing site, if you've heard of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So he's done a lot.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
he's quite a well-known developer.
Quite surprised when I read that. I do have a confession to make. I dropped in, or I tend to lurk on social things rather than use the online button. And I watched a little of your stream the other day where you were playing this OSU thing, and I was quite surprised. It's a pretty frenetic game. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? It moves very quickly.
It's very addictive, and then like yeah, it does move quickly when you get into the higher stuff, like to the point where you're basically just playing off reaction. I don't know, I just find that really
Mm,
enjoyable when you get like good enough at a rhythm game that you can just like play off your own reaction speed.
that's interesting. Have you played it before, Unknown, or?
I have not played it. I've
Yeah,
watched it
yeah, yeah. It's
quite a few
fascinating.
times actually.
Yeah, and you said you do like competitions in this game, is that right? Or
Yeah, I play like I'm not nearly as active as I used to be because now obviously I'm trying to get into trophy hunting a lot more, and I do primarily do that now. Whenever I get the chance, I try and like sign up for like tournaments, play with friends again, and I just have a lot of fun doing it.
mm,
Like doing a tournament in a game like that, like because I was considering like trophy tournaments because I thought that sounded like a fun idea, but there's so much cheese that goes into them that I was like, ugh,
mm.
ugh,
That's all trophy tournaments
ugh.
are. Who can play the most 5-minute plats?
I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, we started out trying to make a trophy podcast, and now we're talking about OSU. So it's
Yeah, I
all
wanted to
good.
try and keep it brief just because it wasn't too trophy heavy.
Yeah, look, I was quite fascinated by it actually. So yeah, I may give it a try because I think it's also on Mac possibly. I
Yeah, no, it is
haven't.
on Mac, kind of. It's also on
Yeah,
Linux, I think.
Linux as well. So yeah, I have to get. I didn't actually realize it was user created content. The song. So that's even that's fantastic.
You know, it has very few like licensed songs to it, so they just get around like the whole royalty thing by having it user created, because then like they can only take it down if they flag it manually.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's very interesting. So on to your trophy hunting. So what sort of trophy hunter are you?
Not a good one. I don't even have.
Oh well, welcome. That's my claim. You got to back off on that one. I'm sorry.
CJ is jealous. He's trying to be the next Ick or Ike.
Finally, we have two low skilled players on here. It's about time. Although I don't quite believe you because I've seen you play that game. I think you're probably very skilled. So yeah, like what type of games do you enjoy playing?
Well, rhythm games. Well, it's like one of them.
Mm,
RPGs, bit huge fan. 3D platformers. I despise VNs. I've never platted a VN.
mm.
CJ, you sound disappointed.
I was just thinking the tumbleweed just went through there for a second, didn't it? I mean, neither of us could say anything. Unknown, be careful. There's a real gamer on here today.
Hey, I'm still like deciding to change the name from VNs. In my mind, every time I see that, I just say visual nonsense now at this point.
Yeah,
Coined by Gray.
that's very true. Very good. And do you play like are you sort of you said you don't play VNs, but do you play Vita at all? Are you?
Oh yeah, I have my own Vita and I play that a lot. I've been
Mm,
like I only normally play it like if I'm out and I can't like obviously play on my PS4. And at the moment, I think I'm working on Neptunia Rebirth 2 whenever I'm out. So that's one plat on the list in the
oh,
backlog.
fantastic.
And I got 3 whenever I finish that.
Excellent. Yeah, well, actually, we'll come to that question later. So I'm gonna leave that there. So that gives us a pretty good basis, I think. No, was there anything else you wanted to ask there, or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, as I said, we'll come back to some of those things. So I changed the order without even realizing slightly. So that's congratulations to me. But I'd just like to take a quick moment to thank Pyro for the banner that he's provided for our site. So last week on YouTube in the comments, he made a comment that, we deserve better than what we had. And I totally agree. My graphic design skills are very, very poor. So he went ahead and made us a fantastic banner. And I thank you. And I know he also made us some cover art as well. I didn't realize there were 2 files there. So we'll definitely be using using that as well. And then I'd also like to thank Benny from Fiverr.com. Through a mutual friend, we reached out, and she's provided some cover art for our podcast as well, which is awesome because the one I was using was very stretched and I don't think you could read it, particularly not on YouTube. So hopefully from this week that will all go up, and I really do appreciate that. If anyone else wants to make anything for us, please feel free. We'll definitely use it in some way. So thank you to both of those.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pyro and Banny. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but we're dangerously starting to look like we know what we're doing, which is totally not true. Let's move on to the question.
Yeah, we get good artwork and graphics, and then people get excited when they click the button for the first time, and then they're like, they hear the voices.
It all goes downhill from there, yeah. So continue our questions that have nothing to do with gaming at all, or sort of, directly to do with gaming, I suppose. Although actually this question does have a little bit to do with gaming. So I'll throw it out there, and you guys can just throw some responses out if you like. So if life were a video game, what are some of the cheat codes that you would use? So if life was a video game and you could use cheat codes, what codes would you like to see there?
That's a deep question.
It is a deep question, isn't it?
That's a very deep question. Does this have to be like a typical gamer cheat?
Well, no. I think you could have some fun. I'm going to throw it.
Well, I mean, in games, debug mode, just do everything you want.
Well, I was going to say, I'll throw out the infinite money glitch. I think that would be fantastic to have that, or cheat code, straight off the bat.
I want that. I want that cheat code from Simpsons Hit and Mum, where you beep the horn and you go like to the moon. Yes. That's what I want in real life.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? What about you, Unknown? Is there some
I don't know.
Sort of,
I'm thinking because I'm trying to think like almost anything would be good. Well, I wouldn't want some dumb cheat code like big head mode or something. That would be a bad one.
Big head mode, that would be awesome too.
Well, big head mode, you just like break your neck, like.
It's very practical of you, yeah. I thought maybe you would like the skip option.
That's not That's not what I would choose. That's not practical. That's like anti-practical.
Fair
God mode. Just stand in front of buses all day long.
I know you have an attraction to the skip mode in your games. Would that be something you'd like to see in life? Just a skip button?
When someone's talking to me, just skip all their dialogue? No, I wouldn't want that. I reverse, I guess.
I could think of a few uses of that.
Walk into an exam, skip.
Reload checkpoint. Of course, that's not really a cheat code. That's just like, I don't know, make a quick save before you take a test, then reload after you realize what the right answers are.
What about fly mode? That'd be pretty cool. Just being able to fly.
No, I wouldn't like fly mode.
You wouldn't like fly mode? Yeah,
that's just honking your horn and flying.
Yeah, it's
good enough.
It's true. Maybe double jump. Would you get much use of that in life, do you think?
It's not really,
double jump?
In most games, it's not really a cheat code.
No, it's not. It's just more of a video game move.
That'd be an interesting cheat code, actually, just adding in the second jump.
Well, you know what? I beg to differ. In Celeste, you can choose from the cheat menu a double jump. So in some games, I suppose it is.
I haven't played Celeste.
Yeah. I can just imagine.
And also slow down time.
That's true. Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah. There's quite a lot, I think, actually, you could do. What about infinite lives? Would you have
you could have God mode, then it doesn't matter.
Mode. Yeah, that's a good point.
But I wouldn't want to live for it. I don't know. I wouldn't want to die and it's just revive every time. I don't want to cheat the system. And again, I guess it is what the question is.
Well, God mode, you don't die. You just you can never get killed. Just get hit by a giant bus or shot.
Yeah, but that's boring.
Nothing happens.
That is
kind of.
It's just like in the game, God mode is just boring.
Yeah.
If I get hit by a bus, I want my arm to break. I don't want to live.
Live forever. Yeah. I like that.
Damage reduction. Blows only break your arms.
What about? I suppose it's not directly a cheat, but I noticed in the game, one of the games we're talking about today, Kingdom Hearts, there's an option to disable earning XP. So I suppose it makes life, makes the game harder for you. So would you like a cheat that makes life harder for you?
Oh God, no thanks.
Well, unless earning XP meant you no, because that doesn't have to do with age, does it? I was thinking if you never leveled up, but that has nothing to do with age. That just means you're just terrible at life.
I think you're right. I think life is hard enough. I don't think we need a cheat to make it harder. Perhaps, yeah. I like that question. That's a little bit out there. So, listeners, I don't know. I'm sure you have some thoughts. What would you choose?
I think I still didn't fully answer that. But
did you have anything else?
We can.
No,
let's just move
on.
on.
Perfect. Let's move on. So why don't we move straight on 2. Now I'm going to check the order this time because I think we're almost back on track. Oh yeah, to what games we've been playing. So Pelzio, should we start with you? What have you been playing this week?
Well, out of PlayStation games, I've been playing Hitman 2 on the side. That doesn't have a platinum, so it's been like just a nice little 100% to go for. And it's still getting DLC.
Nice big 100%.
Yeah, and it's still getting DLC trophies.
Little 100% is an understatement.
Yeah, it's still getting DLC. If it gets like one more DLC pack, I think it'll have like the most like trophy, not the most points, but like the most trophies overall in like a single game. And I think they've got like 3 more DLC packs coming, so that's going to overtake.
Fantastic. Did you ever play the first Hitman on PS4, the one before this one? Not the original, but the PS4.
Yeah, the reboot one. Yeah, but like the reason why Hitman 2 is so big is because it includes all the maps from Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 on the trophy list. So like if
In other words, he's played it twice.
Yeah, so I'm playing through it a second time now, basically. Well, obviously with the new Hitman 2 maps as well. Basically, if you have like Hitman 1, obviously because it was free with Plus like half a year ago, you could get like a legacy pack for Hitman 2, which would allow you to just download all the maps for free in Hitman 2 for the Hitman 1 ones. So it's quite cool. It's kind of like I just got like 2 trophy lists just from that one PS Plus game.
And you enjoy those stealth-based games, or you must have a lot of patience?
Well, it is stealth based. Like playing it on master difficulty can like sometimes be annoying, but it's such like a goofy game at the same time. Like the ragdolls are stupid, the AI are just really dumb sometimes, but like in a good way, where it's just really funny sometimes. I think that's like the main charm of Hitman games. It's just really comedic, and a lot of the Easter eggs are just over the top and stupid. I love it.
It's fantastic, and I hear it's supposed to be a pretty beautiful game as well graphically. It's very refined.
I know, yeah, it looks stunning. Square Enix always outdo themselves with like their bigger titles. Like they're definitely one of the most consistent visual wise.
Oh, fantastic! Good, yeah. And what else?
Oh yeah, Beat Saber, which I'm planning to do for my 100th plat I've been playing, and it has been absolutely tiring. It's like my shoulders like have been dead for 3 days because of how much I was playing it. Like it requires like I don't think there's any other game on PSVR which is more physically taxing than Beat Saber. So if you ever want to get a good workout and get trophies at the same time, then definitely go for Beat Saber because you're definitely gonna like need to cool yourself down playing that.
And if you don't want to raise your arms for a week,
yeah, definitely. If you're out of shape like me, you won't be able to raise your arms for like a month.
Go for the fastest time. Stack it and go for the fastest time.
Stacking.
Oh god, I don't think it has a stack. I think it's only 1 stack.
Yeah, I know, but like if you played it again, I guess if you played it again, another count is what I was saying.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
man, that would be like, I don't know, how many hours do you think would be minimum to do it? If you could do it like straight through
well,
the first go.
24 because there's a trophy
yeah, but if
which
you
is
like
24 hours.
If you started, you just let the game run, or does that not work?
Well, if you just like idled it and then you did the trophies, like doing that way.
Unless you have to be in the song, then it wouldn't work.
I mean, you'd have to do at least. I guess like if you were a pro at the game, you could get it done in 8 hours, maybe. That's a complete guess. I'm not 100% sure. Like I think if you did like the minimum amount of songs, it would be like 8 hours, but that's just a rough guess.
Then you'd just be out of it for a week and a half or a month.
Yeah.
I think with that game too, they made it. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I think when they patched it, it became a lot harder. Was that? Do you know anything about that? I know that the people I know who've done it peeled back the patch to do it on the 1.0 version, but I believe it got harder.
I didn't know they made the patch harder. Like the hardest trophies in it are well, the hardest trophy is to get a double S rank on an expert song, which can be quite ridiculous because you have to like because to get more points in that game, like you have to swing your arm more. So like the more points you get, the more dead your arms get. And to get like a double S rank on an expert song, you basically just have to like I don't know, you have to throw your arms like Zoidberg. Like it's quite ridiculous the sheer amount that you have to move to get like a double S rank.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was like changed, if maybe that was something different before, but not to my knowledge, because I only got the game like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if like any changes before that.
But as you say, it's a really.
But it doesn't seem.
It's a really fun game anyway. So.
Yeah, it's really, really fun.
It'll come. Is it?
I'm not aware of any patch
No.
changes before that, though.
Is that going to be your 100th platinum? I noticed that you're on 99, or have you not decided?
Yeah, that was planned. That's also why I'm doing Hitman 2, just because that doesn't have a plat, so I could just do that on the side when my arms are too tired.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you could play games up until the point and then not plat them.
I could, but that would trigger me. Just seeing that little 97% there, I'd be like, oh, I want to finish that.
And you're probably in the zone as well, I imagine, with Beat Saber, so it's probably easy to keep going rather than leave it and start something else for a break. Yeah.
Until my arms fall off.
I've heard that comment from a lot of people about the arms. Yeah. Excellent. Anything else that you want to throw out there, or?
Well, Osu, but we've already touched on that, and I've also been playing more. Well, I always just play this occasionally. I was playing Ultra Sun on my 3DS. I've always enjoyed the Pokemon series, and I've just been trying to do some shiny farming. Normally, when I'm just watching, chilling on streams, it's nice just to do some shiny hunting on the side. Yeah. It's a really chill thing to do. I love it.
Heard you got a shiny yesterday.
Yeah, but that wasn't even me shiny hunting. That was a full chance shiny, and I was going crazy over that. I was so happy.
You're one of the first gamers we've had on here that plays multiple systems. So I just wonder, out of my own interest, do you sort of how do you decide which one you're going to play? Do you just sort of whatever you feel like at the time, or does it just between systems, or do you sort of plan anything out? Or
I try to primarily. So if there's a tournament first coming up, I'll typically play that a lot just to practice. If I'm just got free time, nothing to do, I'll play on the PlayStation, get some trophies. If I'm playing with friends, a lot of the time we'll go on Smash. That's what we normally play. So I'll go on the Switch, we'll play Smash. And if I'm just really, really bored, then I'll just be okay, I'm just gonna play Ultra Sun or Let's Go, and I'll just do some shiny hunting. It's just a very chill thing to do that. But yeah, if most of the time I'm gonna be trophy hunting.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of gamers, particularly PlayStation gamers we talk to or know, are stuck on one console. So it's cool to see someone, enjoying a bit of everything. Did you hear that, Unknown? Enjoying a bit of everything? Switch?
I've heard it.
It could be a true thing. Who knows? I'll have to wait and see. Yeah. So, Unknown, what have you been playing this week?
I finished The Messenger, finally. Well, not finally. It didn't take that long. And actually, it's kind of disappointingly I finished it, because I like that game.
It was good?
Yeah, I was almost done with that before. I played Ghoul Boy on hard mode because, like an idiot, I didn't know that the upgrade menu was you had to exit the game to go get the upgrades. So I played the game without upgrades. I finished it, but there's even a trophy for getting upgrades, and, well, I neglected to do so until the end. And the game would have been very easy if I had upgrades, because there was a whip mace thing that had dealt more damage. I had twice as much health, or I would have.
What type of game is that, sorry?
2D platformer.
I mean, you played on hard mode, but is it overly hard, do you think, if you don't play on hard mode?
Oh, I think it'd be a joke, 2 out of 10 easy.
And you don't have to play on hard mode for the trophies? Or...
No, there's no official hard mode. It's just...
Oh, okay.
I say that because I did it without any upgrades. So I had half the health available possible. My weapon was not very good. There was some other upgrade. I don't remember what it was. But I'm sure it would have upgraded. Oh, I think more projectiles and stuff was the other upgrade.
You played that on the Vita as well?
It was on PS4, yeah. It's weird because the lists only say Vita, even though it's a cross-buy between PS4 and Vita. But
okay.
Yeah, the list only says Vita. And apparently these other stacks of it are physical-only versions that are somewhat high price tags, $60 a piece. More.
Oh, wow, okay. Are these limited run, or are these Play Asia exclusive?
I don't know. I was told they were $100 Canadian.
Sure. Who has that sort of money? That's crazy. Fair enough.
All right. I also played Pipe Push Paradise, which was the trophies were so messed up because it's basically you just get trophies for finishing all the puzzles. That's all you got to really do. And I got the first trophy. Then when I went to I did the requirements for the second one, and I did the requirements for the third one. Didn't get either of the trophies. So I started the game over again. Did up to the point where I should have got 2 and 3. Didn't get them. Started the game over again. Did up to the point where I was going to get 2 and 3. Made a backup save. Went back in. Didn't get them. Reloaded the backup save. Did 2 again, and finally got 2. And then I was going to stop for the night because at this point I had already been playing it for multiple hours and I kind of wanted to go to bed. However, then I got the trophy for 3, and then trophies are popping. So I was just like, well, at this point, since things are working, I should probably just finish it. Yeah, it took me, like, it was probably only really take you like 2 hours or an hour and a half. It probably took me like 5 just because I had to keep redoing stuff. I got to the point where I memorized like several of those early puzzles.
So I'm going to pull you up here. Now, you won't play a rat game. You're continually bashing these short trophy trash games, and yet you'll play a game called Pipe Push Paradise.
It wasn't that. Well, I mean, it was like okay puzzle-wise. The puzzles were really creative and clever, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. There's not much you can say there, is there? I mean, you're trying to backtrack now, I understand.
It's
really,
not.
how can
it's
you
not
defend a game called Pipe Push
you
Paradise?
had to finish the game. We're not even comparing the same stuff right now. You have to finish this game and do the bonus levels.
Can I ask, did you use a guide
have to play
for this
like
game?
5% of the thing.
Did you follow a guide for this game?
I did. For not all of it, but maybe like the second half of it.
So really, this is a trash game that's just taking you 2 days instead of 15 minutes if you're playing a rat game. That's basically what it boils down to.
It's pretty much what it wasn't. It wasn't that bad. Like, there was definitely good thought put into these puzzles if you do these puzzles.
Okay.
I'm
So
not like trying to defend the Pipe Push Paradise as being an awesome game, but like if you play it, even if you're following a guide, you'd be thinking like, "Wow, who thought of doing that?" Like moving pipes and flipping them around to get higher up on other pipes.
Okay, I haven't played it myself. I just found it interesting that you would defend that game. But interesting.
Well, I mean, I also played some VNs that were not some visual nonsense for 40 minutes.
Oh, look, you're boring, I guess, now. He's already expressed his opinion on VNs.
Yeah. All right, and I also played Asterix and Obelix, whatever. XXL2.
That's a good classic.
It was, like, actually not too bad. My problem was just the combat was very repetitive, and there was just, like, a lot. It's just, like, over and over the same thing.
And every boss being the same exact boss.
And then it was just, like, you'd have to fight these hordes of things, too. So it'd be, like, just giant 160 enemy waves to get to the next area. But it's not that long either.
Is it? I haven't played that. Is it sort of fairly like straightforward with the trophies, or are there missables? Or
there's no missables. It's pretty easy. Just like finish the game and then go back and look at a guide for the like 60 collectibles or whatever if you didn't find them already.
Oh, so you can continue after you finish the game. It keeps going.
Well, it's like it's not really an open world, but all the places link to each other with like travel maps and whatnot. So, but yeah, the combat was just getting. That's all I'll remember the game for is the combat.
It's still just such a random port to take from the PS2. Like out of every game they could have chose on the PS2. Obviously, they've already ported like a lot of the PS2 games to like the PS4. But just that one, just being just some random game that they made for like a children's cartoon, like back in, I don't know, like 2004. It just feels so random that they would port that.
The thing too is when they used to be porting PS2 games, they did that thing where it'd be like you needed the touchpad as start and select, and it would have like all the like menus and like it'd be like an emulated PS2 game more so. This one they actually changed it. Like options is actually start and everything like that. It's just yeah, it's just weird.
It's just a nicer layout.
Is this a port or a remaster? Do you know? I'm trying to.
I mean, it did say XXL. Like, I know in the Twitch directory there was 2 XXL2s, but no XXL2 just without a subtitle. So I don't know because I'm thinking it was the Las Vegas one because the places were like after Las Vegas attractions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I hadn't even heard of the game until like a couple weeks ago.
They've definitely upscaled the game, though. I know the graphics are they're not too bad at all. So maybe it's somewhere in between.
Yeah, they don't look that bad. I mean, they're nothing like super amazing, but they're definitely PS2 looking graphics.
Yeah, good. And
they're better than Bionicle Motunui.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that game.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, CJ, but like there was
No.
this Bionicle game that came out in 2018, which looks worse than the Bionicle game which came out on the PS2. So I'm very astounded that they were like. I remember, I think I like seen like the day that it was like in development for, and it was like in development for 15 years. And I don't get like why some game which was getting designed for like the PS2 has decided to come out in like 2018. They should just like scrapped it and just forgot about it. I don't know why anybody was still like working on the title. It's just a very random thing to exist.
Yeah.
So Rad, if you want to reach out for a game that wants to be ported, they definitely want this game because they're determined to get it on PC after 15 years. I think they're gonna want it on PS4.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that they'll
And
have an
Switch.
opening for something at some point in time. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And that Asterix and Obelix, if you're looking for it, it is available digitally. I think it came out towards the end of last year. I know I never seen
Yeah, I
it
think it
around
was.
anymore.
I think it was end of last year when I looked at the release date.
Yeah.
I think it was like
yeah.
December or something.
Yeah, so it sounds like some fun, light fun in there. Yeah, good. Anything else you want to throw out, or
That's all I
what
played.
does that bring you up to? 1484. So you still need a few more, don't you?
Yep. Before you retire, or before I retire.
Oh, good. Okay, well,
Right, that's what happens at 1500.
I have no idea. Is that what's going to happen? Well, listener, you'll have to wait and see.
I don't know.
Well, it'll be exciting. We'll both wait and
Find out next week.
It's,
If I play rat games, then we can find out tomorrow.
that's right. You can hit 2,000 by next week.
Yeah, probably.
We'll have to see what happens. That's good. Any other games you want to throw out? Sorry, I think I just asked that, didn't I? You're good?
Yeah, you did just ask that.
Yeah, perfect. I'm on a loop today. Excellent. Go CJ. So I think I'm just delaying my list because it's just a nightmare. I don't know. There's just so many words.
So
there.
let me guess: 30 games started and not finished.
Well, look, the one I really want to throw out because I know you're interested and you're eager to get onto it is the Super Weekend mode. And look, that's
man,
that's 1, 2. That's 4 times there.
So CJ, what day did you play this on?
Well,
Yeah, I was gonna ask
I think it was what day did it come out? I think it was a Wednesday.
It didn't come out on a weekend. I know that.
No, well, that's the day I played it.
So you
Wednesday or
failed.
Thursday.
You did not play it as it should have been played.
didn't get the the name in the well, I thought when you told me that maybe there was a trophy that tied to the date on your PS4 that you actually did have to play it on the weekend, but there isn't. So yeah, it's great. But look, this is their best effort
The
so
name
far.
tells you that you should play it on the weekend.
Yeah.
Super End.
This is the best effort by them so far, for sure. I mean, there's almost no game here at all, which is a fantastic achievement. And what I particularly like is that they've now abandoned any thought of trying to make a game. I don't know if you saw this. They're running a competition at the moment where you can earn a code for this game or one of their other games or something if you can beat it in under 5 minutes. So I think even they realised that it's just becoming a joke. Have you seen
It's
that?
just all a joke now. They know it too.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, but look, I mean, you probably.
No, I
have
saw
to have
that competition. I don't think it was them running it. I think it was a site.
Oh, wasn't it?
Or something.
Well, I thought maybe it was them, and they were. I wish it was them then, but yeah. Look, it's very easy. There's plenty of guides or something. I think some people are doing it in like.
Plenty of guides. Why do you need a guide?
Oh no, well, just I don't know if you want to watch it first, so you can finish it in under 5 minutes, so you can qualify for a code.
Or you could play through the game and beat it.
I think.
And
sure how many
enjoy what the developer meant for you to see, and then you'll probably still get your plat at the end.
I wonder if the developer spent more than 3 minutes on it, to be honest with you, but I'm not sure there. So yeah, look, I mean, it's
8 out of 10 on Steam, I hear.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is it the same game?
Yes.
There
was like 11 votes when I looked, but still, there was only one person that didn't like it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it could have been. It could have been the dev and his 10 cousins or something, but
it does use a weird mechanic though. It uses the L1 and the R1 button, so you have like 2 little shooting, I don't know, discs down the bottom of the screen, and the L1 controls the left one, and the R1 controls the right one. So, most of the time you're moving in the same direction, but sometimes they're moving in cross directions. So, like, there's some cool ideas there. I can imagine, I suppose, if there are more levels and you keep playing and that gets a bit more involved, it could be a little challenging or enjoyable or whatever.
I think there's like 8 levels or something.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot, and you have to play about half the game.
Well, you don't know how many there are because I'm sure you didn't finish it. But on the
I
Steam
did
list,
I did the 3.
oh, you did finish it? Wait, what?
No, I did the 3
Oh.
levels you had to do.
You
What do you want from me, Unknown? You know, I'm trying to win back some time so I can invest it in Pipe Push Paradise, obviously.
Well, that's
but
at least you got to finish it.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
The Steam actually again, like with Metagal, had an official list that you actually had to beat the game.
Okay, yeah,
that changed. Like a side note with these, I looked it up too with these ports to make the really fast plats. You actually a lot of them in the beginning were the exact Steam list, like even if they're not exact same as the Steam achievement list, and then like. I think when I looked back, like Heroes Trials was like the first one, and then after that, they're just like these Steamless. No one's gonna want to buy it with the Steamless. Let's cut it down, significantly cut it down. But yeah, I was surprised because I was just thinking they did that with all of them, but actually a lot of them. I almost wonder if that's how it started. They just used exactly the Steamless, and then they realized, oh, the Steamless is super easy. And people are buying it because it's super easy. I think we need to make all of them super easy and easier and easier and easier. I think they're gonna get caught in a corner though.
Do you engage in these sort of games, Pelzio? Do you play these rat games, or are you avoiding them as well?
No, that's mainly why I can't say too much on them because I have played like some like easy stuff. Not any. I don't think I've played any rat, but obviously I've done like your typical things like Mayo, Slide. I did play what was it, Midnight Deluxe? I think I played that one. But like when it comes to just like the generic sort of like,
I think Midnight is a Slide or the rat game.
That's probably like the one which I did play. Oh yeah, I think I also did Energy Cycle. And besides that, I don't think I've done anything.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm just worried about. I don't normally talk about this kind of topic, but like I'm worried that like the PS5 will be similar, where like the quality control during like the start of the generation will be really good, and then like once interest like dwindles out and they get like to the end of the life cycle of the PS5, that's when quality control is going to leave again, and then another swarm of these kind of games are going to come in. I think that's just kind of what's happening.
I actually think the start of PS5 is not going to be any different than it is now. I don't think it's going to increase quality control at all. It's just going to transition purely from whatever we have on PS4 at the time to that.
Man, I hope not. I really hope not.
Because I think Rat started going too quick. Because if we were still at the point where a super fast thing was like only an hour, they would still have room to go down. But we're getting to the point where we're in the 3-minute range. Like, how long is this going to keep up? You can't really go much lower than that. And then it's going to break at a point. Like, no one's going to care whatsoever about anything. Like, it's just all going to be a mess. Well, I mean, already. They should have just slowed it down a little bit at least.
I mean, we have a good joke at their expense.
Leaps and bounds.
We have a good joke at their expense, but I mean, their games do work. I mean, they're not broken. They don't crash on you or anything like that. So I mean, there are things.
It's hard to break games.
Yeah. I mean, there are games that are being released on that store that don't work, that crash. That Sony refunds money weeks later because it just doesn't work. So I mean, they're obviously real issues. If it doesn't work. So, I mean, their games do work. There's no question there. It's just more the content, I suppose.
I will admit, when I was like watching Unknown play like Shape-Shifting Detective, and the fact that game could crash, I like had many questions on how they could possibly achieve that game to possibly crash in any situation.
Yeah, because it was just movies and choices.
Yeah. You wonder if anyone's checking it or what's happening, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that. What else? Conan Outcast. I did the Japanese stack of that. It's another fun use of a couple of hours. There's no need to talk about that. I don't think. Just looking down, more Division, but I'm not gonna bore anyone with that. So I had a little go at the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. I don't know if either of you have come across this. I know this is.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that.
Yeah, it's good. I'm I like it. Yeah. So it's I mean, someone described it to me as a visual novel. It basically is 100% a visual novel with maybe some really light detecting, like, or point and click elements. I suppose is better in some of the crime scenes. You just click around, but it's very straightforward. So I mean, if you didn't, I mean, it's not a VN you'd want to skip. I mean, there is a skip option, but it would still be very long. I think just because of the breaks in it. But if you're going to read it, it's pretty cool. So there's not much more to say about it. It's just a series of little cases that are all building towards one thing, and it'll take me a fair while to finish it, but I'm looking forward to that.
So did you slam on the table and object?
Yes, yeah. It's sort of have you seen any of the footage of the game, Unknown? Or
a little bit. I haven't played it myself.
Yeah, so he's sort of fairly indecisive.
Acting the point forward. That's like mostly what I know about it.
Yeah, he's very indecisive and sort of nervous as a lawyer at the start of the game, which is cool or whatever else. And so he's just figuring out what he's supposed to be doing. And then, you'll get the option to object. And so he's sort of timid and he's there and you hit the object option. And then all of a sudden he's uber confident, just yelling out, "I object," out of nowhere, which is sort of funny or whatever else. But yeah, it seems like the game is very forgiving too. If you make the wrong deduction, it sort of says, try again, basically. So I don't know if that ramps up as it goes on, but yeah, it's fun.
One thing I found interesting about this trilogy, it wasn't like I might be wrong on this, but wasn't Ace Attorney like a Nintendo exclusive thing up until that point, or am I like?
I believe so.
Wrong on that?
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. So like that was really interesting that's made the move just to come out on every platform.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it came out in Japan. Oh, I want to say a good few months ago. So it's good too that they localized it here. So I don't know. And they're putting. I mean, it's all voice acted, but they're patching in European language voice support as well, apparently, on this version in the coming months. So yeah, it's they're obviously preparing to support it or whatever else. So, that's great. I don't know. I mean, the sad thing for me this week was that the Grand Tour game, the trophy for the Platinum glitched, but I'm not the only person there. That's very disappointing. Although I think most people knew that was a high possibility a week or two ago when the Episode 3 trophy popped for 75% of people. The complete all Episode 3 trophy popped for 75% of people when they still hadn't done the final episode because it hadn't been released. And so, unfortunately, I'm not sure what happens there, but that's a bit.
Is that what messed it up? Like, were you fine if you didn't get that trophy early?
I don't understand exactly. People were saying that if you did that episode before, there was a patch. I think it must have been very close to when that episode was released, maybe a day or less than a day after it. So if you did the episode before you downloaded that patch, the game credited you having done it. But if you did it after that patch, you still got the trophy, but for some reason the game doesn't. Like, it shows that you've done it, but it doesn't count it in the counter. So when you get to the end, it shows on the screen you've done everything, but in the counter, you're either 1 or 2 behind, so it won't give you the overall trophy. So you have all the other trophies for completing all the episodes, but you just don't have the trophy for completing all the episodes for some reason. So, I mean, that's something
sucks.
it's something to be careful.
That means you gotta do it all again.
Well, going
for a patch.
I mean, hopefully that does work if you do it all again. I don't know. I'm sure someone will try that, so we'll wait and see. But
try it and then it doesn't work, and then they wasted their time again.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's only a digital release, this game. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure. So I'm not sure if you're just starting it now. That's definitely something to consider, a plan of action there, or just be aware that something might happen as you go along. So yeah, I don't know. So that was disappointing because I was going to use that because I had a really good plat name for that game, our new idiot. So I thought that would have been perfect for my profile, but unfortunately, it's not meant to be. But that's fine. That's how it is. So I think that's all. And then obviously Kingdom Hearts, but we're going to get into that in a short bit. So that's an impressive number of games even for me. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I'm just getting sidetracked. So I thought maybe we could talk a little bit just briefly about PSN name changes, because I understand you've already undergone this process, Pelzio. Is that correct?
Yes. I was so happy when this came out because I don't know if you remember my old username, but my old username was Gurak, which was the name of a Bionicle.
Mm-hmm.
Which, because like when I was little, when I got my PS3, I think like what I was really into, like on the PS2 before I got my PS3, was Bionicle Heroes. Mm-hmm. So like this was like just some phase I had as a kid when I was really into Lego. Obviously, Bionicle was like a little branch off from that. And there was this enemy, this like because I've always liked the color blue. There was like this blue enemy called Gurak, so I just ended up calling my PlayStation account after that. Then like 3 years later, I was like, why did I do this to myself? Why can't I change my name? Why? Until now, I finally like got a sigh of relief.
Yeah, you changed it like right away too.
I didn't hesitate. I don't care if I didn't even care if I lost all my games. I hated that name so much.
Can I ask, because I understand when you change, it tells you when you first signed up with that original name. So how long did you have the name before you changed?
It was, I think it was the 27th of February. That's like my birthday where I got the PS3, and then that was 2009.
That's a long time.
February. Yeah. So over 10 years.
Yeah. That's crazy. And so explain, like, how's the process gone? Has it been good? Has there been any problems? Or
I have not noticed any, like, because obviously they've had warnings on it, like there could be some possible online problems with untested games. But like, I haven't played like a huge variety of like games since I changed it. But on Hitman 2, like everything you do is recorded online, and I haven't had a single problem with that. Everything I've done in Hitman, all my progress has stayed. It would have been quite upsetting if I did lose everything, but luckily I have not. And the same with like Beat Saber. All my scores in Beat Saber are still uploaded. They're still there. They haven't gone anywhere.
Well, Hitman 2 is still relatively new, though. I would think it'd be more of a concern for games like PS3 games that came out in like 2011 or something.
Yeah, but there's not a whole lot of servers left on the PS3, are there? There's like not a whole lot of online games which actually still have like servers being supported for them.
Yeah, but they still got to put that in there. People are going to complain. If I'm sure if it happens, it'll happen to one person for every game, probably.
Can I ask, with the Hitman, does it recognize, because it's an online game, as you said, does it recognize your new username in-game, or does it still call you your old username?
I'm not sure if it even lists your...
Oh, it doesn't list it?
Maybe it does. I couldn't actually tell you that. I was only observing like my online level and stuff, and like just seeing that all my stats were still there. I didn't really observe like if the name was the same or not. It may still be the same. That'll be interesting to look at.
Yeah, perfect. And then I was going to ask, is your name, like, is this going to be your name now? I thought I read somewhere this was a holding name. Are you still thinking about it, or is this your actual name now?
What, the name I changed it to?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, well, that's a holding name, because obviously, like,
holding name.
Because I put Owo because instead of Pelzio, I put Pelzio because my I made a Pelzio account for the PS3, which I use for American store purchases.
Yes.
Although I made that like 3 years after I made like my initial account, and it's like been a nightmare trying to recover that because I have to contact like Sony America to try and recover it, and I haven't gotten around to that yet. So once I recover that,
they also probably will ask you, so what's your American address?
Oh no, yeah.
You'll be like the other million gamers that live at McDonald's, probably, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. Good. So, but it sounds like it's gone well then. There's been no issues.
Nothing I've seen yet, but somebody was like, people were mentioning that maybe like some store purchases were gone, and I was like, I don't know why that would happen, but I couldn't visually see any store purchases missing. But at some point, I might go through my trophy list and see if like anything's missing, but I highly doubt there is.
Yeah, you mean like games and stuff, digital games? Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, digital like purchases, digital DLC, all that kind of stuff. I don't think anything would be missing.
No. Yeah. What do you think unknown? Does it interest you down the track or in the future or not?
I looked at a few names.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like it. Maybe I would change it.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Maybe wait and see what happens first.
Another concern I had was even if I recovered that old account, if I was to deactivate it, I don't know whether that would free up that name or not. Because
I don't think it would. Because it sounds like everyone has their old name. Like, because there's also the ability to revert back. So you're saying if you just permanently deleted it.
Yeah, but if you change your name, then that name is still. Yeah, like that. You can't actually delete, like, I don't think there's a way you can delete a Sony account, but you can unlink a Sony account.
You can wipe. You can have it wiped.
Which I think
you can call. I think you can call them or go on their website or something. And there's a way to just completely get rid of everything you have on there.
I have to call then because I couldn't find a way to do that on the website. I think all you could do was like unlink it from when I was looking. But yeah, if you call them, it might be able to.
No, I think there was a way you didn't have to call. I mean, I'm sure you would need your password and email address, though.
I'll try looking into it more, definitely.
Yeah, it's worth looking into. I find it interesting because, I mean, I don't think anyone, I've read a lot and listened to quite a few people talk about it, and I don't think anyone really knows exactly how this system works outside of Sony, but the general belief is that
the people in Sony work too.
See,
they seem unsure of
the
it.
funny thing is with Microsoft,
I mean, they put a list. They put like the most broad list, like anything that could possibly go wrong. They've listed in that warning label there. It seems you might lose this. You might lose this.
Well, the interesting thing seems to be that this is not a new thing for Microsoft. This has been, you've been able to change your name for ages. But the general belief in the difference is that your account on Microsoft is actually tied to a number, and then your name is over the top of the number. So when you change your name, it doesn't affect the number, which is what your account is based around. But the belief with Sony is, and again, I'm not sure how correct this is because, they've never come out and said it, but from reading and listening, the belief is that your account was actually tied to that original username, and that's where the problems come in. So what's happening now is your name still exists underneath your new name. Your new name is just a mask on top of it. And so they never built into the system to really allow for a change. So, this is why everything's tied to that, and it's not tied to, like, I don't understand why it couldn't be the same, but it's not tied to like a more.
Well,
basic...
at this point, they probably can't go back, but that makes sense.
You can't go back now. Yeah, but this
makes sense though. You didn't really change your name. You only changed what people see.
People see, and it's tied in. But then see on Microsoft, the names get recycled back in after, I'm not sure how many months it is. So if you had a name and you let it go, then after the waiting period, that name actually goes out, and people can pay the whatever.
Waiting period for what? Well, after you deactivate
to create the name. Yeah, if you change names, then your name.
I had my mind. You're like, after a couple of months, like some inactive account for like 5 months, then they just take it away.
No, they don't get the account. They just get the name.
Yeah, if you change the username,
names and the achievements or whatever.
Yeah, Sony needs to do that because unknown is taken.
There's many unknowns, isn't there? I think
there's a lot.
Well, I mean, you could always go for a massive change. Yeah. Well, it must have been a good feeling to be able to change it, Pelzio, I imagine, considering you've been waiting.
Yeah. As soon as I seen that, I was like, I don't even care. That like if I lose anything, I don't care. I'm just doing it. I don't want this name anymore. Go away. That was my reaction. Oh, so happy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's like a new start in a way, or like I mean, everything's the same, but something different to see. Yeah, I think it's good. I was definitely not going to do it myself just because of the number of digital purchase I have. But then, I thought as well, like, why not? Who cares? I don't really care either way. So I changed mine as well. And I agree with you. I've had no problems in Division 2. It actually registers as my new name when I play, which is awesome.
Wait, you did change your name? I didn't know this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I think that all my games are still there, although it would be very difficult for me to know for sure. But looking at the number I had before and after, I think it's right. I don't know for all digital content, so I really can't talk on that. I do know that I have problems with Final Fantasy 14. My character still exists, but I can't access him at the moment. So I've sent a message to Square, and there's possibilities around that. But if you are playing that game at all, I would suggest not changing your name until you've spoken to them, unless you're prepared to start a new character.
What's your new name?
There's a new feature.
There is an option to change back, though, isn't there, to your old name? I think you can contact Sony. So, you could always do that. But that's the only game. I mean, admittedly, I haven't played, any PS3, so I don't know anything about how it works there. But for the stuff I've played on PS4, I've had no problems either. So, it's very relatively painless thing to do, very easy to do, so that's good. And then I also know, I don't know if either of you came across this, but apparently Sony is now clamping down as of yesterday or the day before on some of the more risque or potentially offensive names as well. I don't know if either of you saw this. So they're basically forcing people into changing their names. So I think they're suspending the account or something until those people do change their names. So I suppose that's all tied in. They obviously plan to do this for some time, and now that it's an option to change your name, you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to get people to say, hey, just change your name, as opposed to, well, get rid of the account that you have a bunch of games purchased on.
That would be very unfair, obviously.
We're going to ban it, and then they get calls about complaining.
Yeah, so I've noticed that on the forums, a couple of people have already said they've had to change their name for that reason. So I don't know if that's you. Like, I suppose this is good.
Were their names like super bad, or were they just kind of borderline?
The two names I'm familiar with are both. Well, one of them is definitely Australian. The other one, I assume, is for the same reason. So I won't mention their names. I don't find them offensive, but I can understand.
Well, no, you have to say them. I'm just wondering if there was like.
I think
super.
No, not super.
This definitely needs to be changed, or
no. I think.
I guess
I think borderline. Borderline.
They were borderline.
Yeah,
okay.
not
that's
not
like
super offensive.
Inappropriate.
Yeah, not highly inappropriate, no, at all. So yeah, so that's perfect. So I mean, I suppose the most exciting thing is thinking of a new name, like Pelzio. You know what you want it to be. Unknown is thinking, or whatever else. So that could be your next challenge, I suppose, for anyone who's going to change, to think of a new name. But I'm hoping some people.
I would advise, like, if anyone else is going to like change their name, I'd advise at least like waiting a week and then seeing like if Sony say any more about it, and saying if it's like if they've done any more like precautions, because obviously this just came out, so they're not going to have like a perfect start to this. But I'm sure they'll like make another post saying like what they've changed and how like
Exactly.
it's been improved and how much more reliable they've made it now. Because they're definitely going to have like some kind of patch notes coming out for that.
That's right. And I mean, it's free, the first change anyway, so there's no need to race into it. It's not like, it's only free for a day or something. You've got plenty of time to wait and see how it all goes down. But,
Sony's going to make money off of this.
Of course. Well, but I think it's pretty reasonable once you do have to pay the second time. I don't think they're charging a huge amount. It's like $3 or $4, I thought.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, given like a first name change free and then you have to charge. Because when somebody's that indecisive, then you got to be like, okay, now you got to just give us money if you want to just keep changing your name.
That's right.
Yeah, that was good on them though. I mean, I think if they didn't do that and you had to pay, you'd probably still change it, wouldn't you, Pelzio?
Well, if I manage to recover my old account and I can like deactivate it and get the name, then yeah, I would. Like I'm not bothered paying like just £8 just to get that, but I just wanted to change it immediately because I was sick of just seeing a Bionicle on my name.
I think that's great. Yeah.
I think on my whole friends list, well, now CJ, I guess, adds another one. I think there's only 4 that I know of. Some of them I don't even know who they are. I just have seen names that I had never seen before.
It does give you an option when you change to keep your old name there underneath, I think, so people on your
But they didn't.
friends list. Well, no,
they didn't keep it.
No, well,
so I don't even know who this.
You can choose not to as well. So I'm not sure if Pelzio chose not to.
Don't do that. Also, suggestion: if you change your name, keep that option.
Yeah.
Have your other name displayed.
It only keeps it for like 30 days, I think. So it's not like that's permanent.
Right.
Yeah, but at least people are aware.
Yeah, no, that's why it's good. That's why I did
it. What do you do? Just message them. What was your old name before you changed it?
Unknown. How many pretentious Australians do you have on your list at level 116? I think it's pretty clear.
I didn't look that closely. I scanned the list briefly for names that I didn't.
I'll send
recognize.
you a dictionary later on too, so you can look it up.
I didn't look at the trophy levels.
So anyway, let's. But as I said, that's interesting. It's exciting. It's something that's happening at least. So should we? Unless anyone wants to say anything more about that, we just leave that there.
I've complained about my name.
Yeah, I'm good.
You've complained about your name. That's awesome. So let's go on to the games that are being released this week. So there are a lot of games. It looks like there's 20 of these games, including one that we talked about last week. So rather than go through all 20, because that's just insane, we each decided just to pick 2 each. So we'll read the descriptions of those, and then if there's anything that comes out. But of course, if you want to see the full list of what's coming out, you can check the PlayStation drop on the Sony blog. Or the PlayStation blog. So who wants to start? Unknown, would you like to start with your...
I gotta go last. Mine 2 are like knocked out.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Pelzio, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Well, we got Ghost Giant. As the Ghost Giant, you are the protector of the lonely little boy Lewis, who's in dire need of a helping hand. Build trust with Lewis by helping him overcome big or even gigantic obstacles. Discover Lewis's world, meet its eccentric inhabitants, and experience a heartwarming and sometimes heartbreaking story. You see, this description is what made me think it was going to be like Ori, but the fact that like it's listed under VR, it makes me confused, like what it is exactly.
Well, they had that Moss game in VR where you're just like telling the thing where to jump around. I think.
I haven't seen that.
I feel like a 2D Ori would probably be far better.
I don't know. Ori's a fantastic game. Yeah, as the Ghost Giant, you're protected. Well, there we go. I don't know. So is that a VR game or no one knows?
Yeah, it says VR on the
Oh, it is.
title.
Oh, it does say VR. Oh, it says on the top.
No, it says
Okay.
PSVR.
That sounds interesting. Well, let me throw one out there as well. This one I'm actually interested in. My time at, as opposed to most of the games I play now. My time at Porsche. Start a new life in an enchanting town of Porsche. Restore your or maybe Portia. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Restore your pa's neglected workshop to its former glory by fulfilling commissions, growing crops, raising animals, and befriending the quirky inhabitants of this charming post-apocalyptic land. So this is like I think this could be good. This is a bit like I'm trying to think that farm game that I was playing recently. I hope it's like this. I hope it's not like Harvest Moon where it's a little bit too much going on. I don't know. We shall see. Do these sort of games interest either of you?
I don't know. So it's like a Stardew Valley sort of thing.
Yeah. It might be a little bit lighter than that. Hopefully, not as much.
I mean, the artwork's cute, but I don't think it'd be like a game which I'd be too into.
Yeah. It does look like it's for the younger audience or the younger mind. So that'll be perfect for me. I think so. Unknown is going to hold out to the end.
Yeah.
So how about you go again, Pelzio?
Alright, there is Our World Is Ended, a new masterpiece of narrative visual novel storytelling. Follow Judgment 7, a team of eccentric developers working on their latest games in augmented reality. On a summer's day, their AR headset let them catch a glimpse of Tokyo in ruins. Could it really be the end of the world? I don't like that question at the end because they know that they're in augmented reality. So why are you asking if you think the world's ending? Just take the AR headset off.
Well, maybe if the AI goes away, it's somehow linked to the world and it just explodes. It's linked. It has some weird thing. It's linked to a bomb inside the center of the Earth.
Why is the bomb?
The bomb gets activated.
Why is the bomb telling them that the place is going to blow up?
keep giving him
because the bomb has artificial intelligence to do something.
I wonder if it's the Sword Art Online concept where you can't take off the headset or you'll die.
Yeah, but it's augmented reality.
It's augmented.
It's augmented reality. That's why I thought it was stupid. That's why I was like thinking, just take it off. Just take it off. Now you can see the world's not being destroyed.
I don't know.
I just found that a dumb ending question, but I don't know. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more to it.
I'm pretty sure this game. Well, obviously it's come from Japan because it's been out there for a long time. But I actually think this might have quite a good rating or review as well. I'm not sure.
I mean, the artwork looks stunning. Like, obviously, we can't show it in this, but
no.
I think the artwork looks amazing. But I'm obviously, as I said before, I'm not into visual novels, so I just end up sleeping.
No, I can.
TJ won't be able to tell you the end. He's going to skip to it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, this one's in English, so I definitely won't be trying to read it.
Well, he can tell you, though. He can tell you if the world explodes.
It depends if I'm there when that happens. Maybe I'll just leave it to skip itself. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've definitely. I'm looking at it now. I've definitely heard about this game before, so it could be quite interesting. AR. I don't know. So jump on it if that interests you. So the next one. Now, where did it go? Here we go. Iron Snout. There should be more games like this. Look at this. So obviously this one you can't see, but there's a picture of three. There's a pig with a mohawk and a cleaver, a bloody cleaver. There's a guy, or what should we call him, a wolf? I don't know what he is on the left. Yeah, a wolf with a sort of a, I don't know what we call this, like a blade type thing on a stick, hatchet thingy. And then there's a guy on the right with another wolf thing with a chainsaw. This is just great. And they all look like they're going to kill each other. Anyway, so let's see what it says. Once upon a time, pigs would have to build a house of bricks to keep the wolves at bay. Oh, good. They were wolves. Excellent. Wolves at bay. But not anymore. In Iron Snout, its hero Piggy has taken up learning martial arts, and now it's the wolves that need to keep their distance. Because in this bonkers button-mashing beat-em-up, bacon is off the menu for good. Oh, that's great. This is going to be a good game.
If I'm playing, I'm going to die a bunch.
Holding the chainsaw correctly. He's like holding it in his arms. It's gonna fall, like tumble and like cut his leg off. Or
when I look at that pitch,
that's why the wolves are gonna lose because they don't know how to wield weapons.
When I look at the picture, the first thing I do not think is the wolf is holding the chainsaw wrong. But you see, you're much more practical than me.
That's why the pig is only looking at the dude with
Yeah.
the
He's gonna chop off
the
his own
cleaver
head.
thing, because he knows the other one's just gonna kill itself.
Yeah, but he has his right hand underneath, so he's going to strike him with the wrong side of the spear.
Yes, that's right.
You're
That's
right.
Yeah.
It also looks like he's like kind of digging in the ground with it,
Yeah.
more so than
We need to send some complaints to the devs about this.
he doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know how to use it. What he's gonna do is he's gonna flick dirt up at the pig. That's how he's gonna.
You know what's going to happen with this game? It's going to go one of two ways. It's going to be really, really easy and it'll be labeled as garbage or whatever, or it's going to be super hard, like Super Meat Boy hard. And I just don't know. It'll be one or the other, I'm sure. It won't be in the middle.
Like a pig having a mohawk. That's like the most badass thing you can do.
He means business too. He's protecting the bacon for good. That's fantastic. Yeah. And look, I must give a shout out to whoever wrote this week. There's a lot of full stops, I should say. This is good. We haven't had any really run-on sentences. It's impressive so far. Maybe they're to come. Okay, Unknown. Shall we? What have you been holding back from?
Yeah. So actually, I did look at this list, and there is maybe a game that's potentially really good, which is the God's Trigger. It looks like it might be a top-down like twin stick shooting kind of thing. I would be interested in it. But I already said I was going to talk about this snooker. These two. Not only do you get one snooker game, but you get two. So first off, you get Snooker Nation Championship, not National Snooker Nation Championship.
Sorry, what did you say there?
Snooker.
No, sorry. What's
Snooker?
that word? Sorry,
Snooker?
could you say it again? Oh, thank you. Snooker, is it? I've never heard that before.
I might not be pronouncing it right. I don't know.
I think it's
I
snooker.
don't play the game. Anyways, so
I know. Sorry, look,
it's
I'm
probably
just hassling you.
snooker.
Continue on. It's maybe your debut.
Why not snooker? Because that would be like SNUK.
Okay, sorry.
My pronunciation changes.
Well, let's snooker this and continue on.
All right, so you get to challenge the best snooker players in the world, even though this says nation. So I don't know where that kind of a little mismatch there. To take home that all-important win, offline tournament includes competing in qualifiers through the grand final, played on championship specification tables, or challenge players online. Snooker Nation Championship is digital snooker at its best. Well, I should be snooker, and I'm like trying to fix all of it. But if that's not enough for you, in the same week, you get World Snooker 19, and it's the most like it's almost like the one was going to release, so the other one's like, let's release our game too and call it the most authentic simulation of the sport ever created, with TV style presentation and commentary, true to life physics, and advanced artificial intelligence. Choose from offline and online modes, from quick play online matchmaking to global online tournaments that link in real time with a live snooker calendar.
Why do you think they released these two games in the same week?
Well, I imagine that's like maybe a big tournament.
And then this other one's officially licensed too. Well, could be like maybe it's like how they have like the sports games like at the start of the season. This one does say it goes along with the calendar, so
yeah.
Assuming they're kind of releasing it near the start of the calendar, or so that you could at least get it before that starts.
You think they would stagger it, wouldn't you? I suppose you're only going to buy one of them. I mean, would someone buy two snooker games? Maybe.
Well, if you're halfway through a season, it's like if NBA 2K20 came out in December, you'd probably be less likely to purchase it.
I'm not even sure if you play snooker in Snooker 19. From the looks of it, you just chalk your cues.
Yeah, intense cue chalking at its best.
It's actually a visual.
These guys
novel.
are like staring intensely too.
They are, aren't they? Yeah. Look, it's very serious to someone, that game.
They look very like not. I don't want to be like judgmental here, but they look like very athletic snooker players. Like they look like they could be like world champ soccer players or something.
Do you reckon that Snooker 19 has a bigger budget than the Snooker Nation Championship? Because they could license the players, obviously, but the National Championship
it's also officially licensed product.
Yeah, they could only put the balls in their picture and the cue. That's all they could get. Maybe the other guys were busy doing the photo shoot for the other one. I don't know, but yeah, that is strange though. Both in the same week. Anyway, will you be playing that Unknown or either of those?
I will not be playing this game. It's probably a nightmare.
Yeah, difficult maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Online, you probably gotta win like 200 online matches.
Still, it's good these games are coming out. I mean, I can't think of the last one. Maybe that Pure Pool, I suppose, was the last one, and that was a fair few years ago.
Well, that was cool, though.
Yeah.
The rules are slightly different.
Yeah, slightly different, that's right. But I can't think of another game like this anytime.
I think there's been several. It's just probably threw them by the wayside because the trophy lists are like not that easy. Plus, I know there was some a while ago. I don't know about super recently.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, it's good.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what's coming out this week. So, as I said, we won't read the rest of them, but a quick shout out to Tarot Readings Premium that's coming out as well. I see Trooperbrook as well, a point and click, and World of Warships Legends, which I think is supposed to be quite good as well, and World Z War. So, tons of stuff for you this week if you have nothing to.
Actually, this list doesn't look all that hard.
Oh, there's a list up already. Yeah. Okay. That seems perfect. So I think what we'll do now is why don't we transition into our topic of the week. So the topic of the week, we're going to talk all sort of things Kingdom Hearts 3. So I know Pelzio is well versed in the series. He's finished 3. I know Unknown has all but finished 3. He's done all the story and everything else. I think he's just holding on to one trophy or something there. And I've done... I think it's World 4, the Rapunzel world is. So I'm up to the end of that or the start of the next one. So it will be a bit of a spoiler cast. So if you don't want to hear anything about this game or or whatever else, now would be a good time to stop listening. Or so we'll probably go for about 20 minutes or so, or I'll put another warning in then. So be fair warned. So guys, do you want to kick us off? How did you find the game number 3? What did you think?
Gameplay wise, I think I like 2 better and 1 better.
Wasn't 1
there was 2
favorite? Unknown.
I think we talked about this before. What?
Wasn't 1 your favorite? I think you talked about this before. Like you preferred 1 all.
Yeah, 1 was my favorite.
I was surprised at that. Normally I'd hear
Normally hear what? 2's the best one. That's what I hear mostly.
Yeah, 2's the best one.
This 3, the combat had too many triangle prompts. Too many attractions and stuff. That was...
Yeah, if they would release a DLC, well, obviously they've already announced that there will be a DLC for 3. If they do a critical mode for it, I really hope that they take out handicaps like the attractions, because it's just so unimmersive. I don't know how you find them, CJ, but I think Unknown agrees that the attractions just make you feel so unimmersed in the music changes and everything, and it just doesn't even feel like you're playing the game anymore.
Yeah, it's you get it so fast too. You'll get it within 2 seconds of the battle starting, and it's just oh, there's a big group of Heartless attraction. Then rock the pirate ship back and forth until most of the Heartless are gone, and that's the battle.
They're cool visually, but it's definitely not a good mechanic to add. I don't think. I think maybe if they were if maybe you did an attraction,
or if it was harder to achieve.
Yeah, and maybe if you did an attraction at to finish off a boss, every single big boss you fight, you have to finish them by doing some cool new attraction move, and it's you only see that one time.
Yeah, and it was different for everyone.
That would be good. Although just having it as a general mechanic, I thought was really stupid.
Well, why don't we start, because it's such a big game, and it will easily get distracted. Why don't we start with the mechanics then, and these attractions, as you say? So obviously you two know the game much better than me. Did these things exist in the other games, or is this a new thing for 3?
Nope.
The attractions were completely new. What wasn't new was how if you were to cast magic and you would combo, you get some ticks on the side, and then you'll get Fire, an ultimate fire or an ultimate thunder. Those were only ever in Birth by Sleep, so they ended up sort of the mechanics are pretty cool. Besides the attractions, it's kind of a mesh between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Birth by Sleep, and they took all the good stuff from those 2 games and just put it into 3, and it ended up playing really nicely for the most part. It was really enjoyable just having that sort of command system that Birth by Sleep had, and a general Kingdom Hearts 2 play style.
Yeah, I think I would have maybe liked a little less triangle prompts in general. Even if you completely took attractions out, I think there was still a little too many team up moves plus
Yeah, maybe not the team up moves. Maybe you could take them out, but like the general spell ones, I thought were
or have them, but just make it so they're like they occur much less. I mean, they were just occurring like crazy.
and some of them were just like really boring.
One thing I'll say in their defense is, and again, obviously I'm talking from a point I'm not as well versed in this, so I won't mention that again, but that's my position, is that at least they don't go on for too long. Like when you start an attraction, it's over fairly. I mean, I know some of them, I'm talking more the animations, I suppose, here. It's not, I don't find, I mean, maybe.
Well, they have the option to turn it off. They have the option to turn the animation off. Yeah.
But it's not excessive. Like you don't feel like, I've got to put the controller down and wait. Like something like a Burnout, the Burnout
Knights
Paradise.
of the Round.
Yeah.
Oh my god, would that be bad?
Takes forever.
Whoops! Accidentally activated the attraction.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's good. And I mean, just to pick up on a point, I think some of them are great. Like some of them are better than others. I think last night I had the Rapunzel one with the hair, where they lasso them around and stuff.
Well, that was a team move.
It's also okay. Well, I'm going to classify
the attraction.
Sorry,
but the attractions are the rides, like anything that's a ride.
Yeah. So the water, when you're in that the
raft
thing with the water raft, they are quite fun. Yeah, I found some of them are very overpowered. Would you agree? Like that water raft,
the merry-go-round,
it's very powerful.
Oh, very much overpowered. But that's why I'm hoping that when critical mode does come out, that like they remove that. So, because I don't think they can ever make critical mode challenging if those are still in the game.
And then I was going to ask you too, because you know a lot more about me, but going through it seems like, so I'm about 10 hours in now or something, but I'm still picking up, variations on new move sets. Like I can push this button and this will create this sort of a thing or whatever else. How do you feel about that? It seems there's a lot of variations on moves.
Did we get much later on? I feel like we just got a lot early and then like not
not
much
all the time,
later.
but I'd say I'm getting at least one per world.
Wrong.
One or two.
Maybe I don't remember. Yeah. I just remember getting a lot thrown at you in like Olympus.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like every group of Heartless was a new move or a new thing. Shot lock, and we go to attractions, then we go to...
No, sorry, I didn't want to talk about it. I was just going to say, I wonder if a better description is, do you find that you're using all these different moves, or do you think it's still a bit of a button masher?
I was at the point where I was not using attractions on purpose. Like, the only thing I would do, I would use the merry-go-round, just because it, like, was just always just completely cleared everyone out. But that was the only one I ever used. And I wouldn't use it all. Like, I guess I started using it, like, mostly for cleanup at the end and stuff, but... That was the only one I used. The other ones I still felt like they did a lot of damage, but it was just like kind of clunky and rocking the pirate ship back and forth and stuff. And it's like if I would activate an attraction, I would just end it right away to do the final attack of it.
What would you say, Pelzio? Sort of aside from the attractions, how did you find the rest of the combat?
Well, I was going to say, like, I think I did just end up just mashing X because that worked. The fact that worked made me really sad. That the game was that easy that you could just mash X and it would work, because that would not work in 2 or Birth by Sleep. You could not just mash X to win, but they just made this game like even on Proud Mode. I've been doing a level 1 Proud Mode playthrough. Like I'm still like midway through it, and it's the level 1 Proud Mode is bad just because it eventually just becomes like you don't die but you can like do no damage, so that's very lame. But the fact that the game, even on Proud Mode, can still just be you pressing X and it works, I don't know. I really dislike that, and I really hope that critical mode is like a lot more relentless than this. Like, I don't know. I could get like my little niece to come on here. He's like 2, and he could probably just beat the game.
Yes, because the other games they're deceptive. Like before I started, like I'd never played them before until January. I played a little bit over the first one, and they're deceptively difficult, aren't they? Or I was surprised. The early games.
Well, like the older
ones. Yes, the older ones, yeah.
But some of them added like harder modes and like the final mix, and I don't know, you platinumed 2, didn't you? I believe you 100%ed that one.
I didn't plat 2. I finished 2 on it was on PS2 though.
Because some of like the end game bosses in 2 are like extremely difficult. Like regarded as like some of the hardest bosses like in any games ever. But it was so much fun to like just try and learn, because I'm sure you're far enough in, CJ, to know like Organization 13 and all that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like so every single one of them in 2 at the end, they had like their own little data battle, which was like a battle which you had with them previously, but it was like amped up to be a lot more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And just the fact that you had like those 13 battles there, and it took you so long to learn each of the independent fights. It was just so much fun. And I really hope that when they do add like a DLC for this game, that they got like some cool boss rush thing like that again. Because like the fans loved that to the point where they even made like a speedrun category just for that area. It was so much fun.
I do like, I mean, again, I'm a little bit more familiar with the Final Fantasy series, so I do like the build up in the worlds and the levels to the final boss, sort of like, you would get in a Final Fantasy game, or, particularly in 14, I'm thinking where you have these, these big boss battle moments or something. So I do like the structure of that, So I don't know. Would you? I mean, you've obviously both finished it. Is that sort of the structure it takes? That in every world there's a big boss sort of battle that concludes it?
Well, like, at the very end, or mean like each world independently?
I think he means each like Disney World.
Well, each world is you. Do you find the final sort of like? I think for the first 4 worlds, there's been a boss battle at the end, so I assume that's sort of how it goes. Do you find the bosses good? Like in this game, the design. Do you like them?
I mean, I think it goes back to it's just very easy. There's not it's not very memorable, those fights.
Yeah, I do like the designs though. Like a lot of the designs are really really cool, but I've got a lot of complaints like around the end of how the fights work there, but I don't know whether I should talk about that or not.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah.
Well, like basically, like near the end, well, like spoilers for like anybody that's listening to this part, like during the end, they would pitch you against multiple organization members at once, and fighting multiple members, they just made them really really easy, just so it wasn't too hectic. But they were so much more enjoyable in previous games on one-on-one fights, just having like really downgraded versions of them, like 3 against 1, just really downgraded. It was absolutely awful. Except one of them, like the last one was good, but for the most part, if they like their AI and everything was designed so well. If they just like amped them up, put them in 1v1 fights, that would have been so fun. But they just put them against like weaker versions with like others of them, and I don't know. It was incredibly. I found it incredibly sad that
they like really didn't do anything hardly. They were just punching basically.
Why do you think that is? Was there a reason for it though? Was it the story or not?
Might be too hard. I don't know. They wanted to be accessible. Isn't that the word they use? Accessible.
Maybe they thought like if you did a 1v1 battle with each member, they would think that would just like drag on for too long, which I guess it probably would. Like if you did just have to like do a boss rush with every single member.
I think it would have been cooler if you did do it with like multiple at the same time, but they were just better. Like,
oh, what would have been cool if like you did like a 1v1 fight with a bunch of them, but a lot of the time you would play as like a different character. So like sometimes you would be Mickey fighting somebody, sometimes you would be like you would be maybe not Goofy, but Riku fighting somebody.
Kairi.
Yeah, Kairi fighting somebody.
Make Kairi actually do something.
Oh, Kairi was useless. She died instantly.
That's interesting, yeah. So I suppose then the next thing I'd ask then, so did you have a favourite world in the game? Did you like one more than the others?
I gotta say Pirates. I thought the Pirates world was really awesome. Like the exploration, like compared to how it was in 2, was freaking fantastic. I really liked going around Pirates of the Caribbean.
And Unknown, did you have a favourite?
I'm trying to think.
You got a treat for that pirate world. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. I feel like the final 2 worlds in general were just really, really good.
Well, while Unknown's thinking, I noticed I've moved to the second, I don't know what you call the second layer of worlds or whatever else, and I noticed there's a level guide on the worlds, a level suggestion. I think so. I actually started just before I finished last night. Arendelle, is it the
Frozen?
Let It Go, the Snow World. Yeah, Frozen. That's what I'm thinking for. But I think the other world is available as well. I'm not sure what that is, but I know I'm a little underleveled, so maybe you're supposed to start with the other one before that one. I'm not sure what the other one
it has that.
Oh, the Monster Tropolis.
Probably go to the final world.
Yeah, I think it's Monster.
You're on easy. You could probably skip ahead.
Yeah, it's not. I'm playing on normal. Thank you. I'm on easy, please.
Yeah, probably could.
So, did you have a favorite world?
I had worlds that I didn't particularly like as much as others.
Okay, you can say that then. Did you have a world you disliked?
Olympus.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I do not like that world.
Olympus
I do not like that world in every single game. Except
It's the only
One, well,
that's been in every single game except one, I think.
yeah,
There's only one game I don't think it's been.
it is in one.
No, not
It's in one.
one. I mean, as in like, there's only one game it hasn't been in.
Which one's that?
I think Dream Drop Distance it wasn't in, and I think that's the only one.
So what did you dislike about it?
Hercules and Phil.
Phil's awesome. He's a little Danny DeVito.
No joke, those characters annoyed me like crazy.
He didn't talk though. In Kingdom Hearts 3, he doesn't talk at all, which I found weird.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't care. Don't care. They're still there.
Fair enough. So what I found interesting, I mean, neither of you probably had any problems with this because you're familiar with the series. I don't know if it's a mechanic or not, but was this cloud stepping that they brought in that Hercules world?
I don't think that was in anything else before. I hadn't done it.
So
Oh, you mean by like using the shot blocks and like hopping around doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a new thing, is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't come across that really again. I mean, it was sort of, you could use it in one of the boss battles, I think. That I played.
It's kind of a new thing, but it was in 0.2, which was the one that they put in like the collection pack, that new little mini game where you play as Aqua.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if either of you played that or not. Like I didn't have a platinum. I had 100%, but no platinum. It was a really good game. It was basically like
Fragmentary Passage. That was it.
Yeah, yeah, that was it. It was kind of like the game was kind of like a teaser of what Kingdom Hearts 3 would be. Even though I was worried about it because I think that ran at like the frame rate wasn't very good on Fragmentary Passage, so I thought the Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably going to run at this frame rate. And then even on like the normal PS3, it runs at 60 or 50. So I was really surprised how well optimized like it ended up being. I guess like maybe Fragmentary Passage was just them doing like a little performance test, just seeing like how well they could get it to run, and that was like the reason they did that, which is smart. And it was still a fun game despite like the frame rate not being fantastic.
See, this is the problem I have with this game, and I think possibly a lot of people like myself that don't, aren't into the series or don't know the full story, and so they're just playing it for the enjoyment. Is as you say, it's a very easy game. Like it makes you smile. It's very sort of Disney-esque or whatever. And then they have these features like that cloud stepping was definitely one of them. And then I don't know if you remember, but in the Toy Story world in particular, there's finding a window that you have to go through, and then later towards the end of the level, there's the blocks thing where you have to go through finding the dark passage or whatever it is. And I don't know if you two find this. I also found this in the first one, and I know it's a much older game, but sometimes the level design is a little bit vague for a linear game. They're the only spots I've found it so far, but I don't know if you'd agree or it's just me.
I mean, games used to be where you would just get lost trying to figure out what to do. I mean, it wasn't. I guess.
Yeah,
nowadays it is much more handholdy, where you just like it puts an arrow over the door you're supposed to go into.
Yeah, I mean, the game basically plays like a movie. I think you're right. The cutscenes are very long, so you don't. I mean, on normal you don't die. You just keep going or whatever because it is easy or whatever. And then you run into like that little bit, and I mean, they're very there's 3 spots I can name in 10 hours, so it's not an issue, I suppose. But it just seems to interrupt the flow. I don't know, and maybe you're more used to that from playing the other games. You expect that?
I guess I don't mind it too much. I mean, I know that happened to me in 1. Even when I replayed it, like to get the plat on PS4, I forgot like certain where you're supposed to go. You're supposed to go back to Traverse Town to go in the underground tunnel at this point.
The only place on 1 that I struggled with, I think everyone struggles on this, is the Tarzan world, and it basically makes you go back and forth in that world like 4 times, like to the farthest part, back to like the tent, like so many times. It was so poorly designed, that world, but I can't think of any worse examples than that in 1.
No, yeah, okay, that's actually, it's funny you mention that because that's the world that I stopped in 1 when I got to there.
Tarzan was really stupidly designed. I don't know why.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I mean,
I like the feel of Tarzan though. I like the atmosphere in Tarzan.
Yeah, it's cool atmosphere.
The level design,
Yeah, good. So do you have, I mean, we haven't touched on story at all, but how do you think it dealt with the story in this one? Do you think it was a good treatment? Were you satisfied? Or
I think they did a good job setting up for like the next game. Like in terms of like setting up the next game, there were so many like new sort of like mysteries and hints that they dropped. I thought they did that really, really well, especially like with the ending movies. I think Unknown like mentioned this before, where they tried really hard just to like wrap everything up it may not have been Unknown that mentioned that, but I know someone mentioned that, where like they tried really hard just to wrap everything up in like the current arc, like a bit too much, and then they just ended up doing so, like trying to fill in so many plot points all at once at the end. It kind of became pretty jumbled. Like some of it worked really well, but it did all just like flood at once. They tried to explain so much at once just to like get this arc over with and then start something new.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like I was talking earlier about it too. I'm sure there's stuff I missed just because I don't like have the whole story memorized. So I'm sure if I don't know. Like I think I found this a YouTube video that had like everything, all the cards together, and I was saying I was gonna watch that and then rewatch Three's movies, but I mean I got most of it, but like yeah, also too with a lot of the stuff getting.
Didn't you also skip through the cutscenes on the PS3 collections?
I played the games before though.
Did you on the DS? Like you played both? Oh wow, I didn't know that. Coded was horrible. I hated that game.
I didn't play Misery though.
Oh, Chain of Misery.
No, that was the
I don't
one.
blame
I
you.
didn't play that.
On the
I haven't
Game
played
Boy.
Birth by Sleep.
On the Game Boy, it wasn't very good, but like the remake, they improved, but it's still Misery.
What I think is interesting, just linking back to this one and the story, obviously, because I have watched a summary video, but it was very short of the previous one, so I know my knowledge is very vague. But I think it's a game that you can play without engaging too heavily in the overarching story. I think the gameplay within the worlds, the sort of mini stories, are quite fun. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it could kind of treat. I mean, each of the worlds in like 3 had a pretty much their kind of own story.
Yeah, I understand it's an overarching story, but
that's kind of like what the older games did as well. Like for the most part, like they did have like some odd ones, like in Kingdom Hearts 2, like Zolden came into the Beast World and you kill him there. There was some stuff like that, but for the most part, each story just had its own separate world. Everything in Kingdom Hearts 3 got explained like in between worlds and cutscenes, or at the end, or at the beginning. Like within the worlds, there was literally like nothing.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I mean, there's times in the worlds I think, Brett, it could be. I'm reminded to Disney Infinity because they're so freestanding a little bit. If you choose to ignore the other stuff and just focus on what's happening in that, then you wouldn't know about this other stuff going on, and I think that's totally fine. I'm sure there's a lot more merit in understanding, but it's the point is that it's fun. I think
there's a lot more narrative and understanding.
That's right. But it doesn't hinder you from having some enjoyment with the game. I think.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very, very beautiful in its design too. So the other thing I'd like to touch on, and I mean, you again know more about this than I do, but there are some very deep quotes in this game in the dialogue. So I know Unknown won't be able to help us because he probably skipped it, but I don't know if
I watched everything in this one.
Oh, did you? Okay,
sorry. Everything.
So I don't know, like, can I ask you, who are these games made for? Do you think, like, what age group?
I feel like they make it for an older audience, but at the same time it's Disney, and Disney are like, you have to make this for like a younger audience. So they're trying to like cater to like an older audience while still trying to keep it PG. And I don't know, like
yeah, it is. It is only Is it only E10? The rating?
It's not too high. There's nothing that bad. I think like the worst it gets is Pirates of the Caribbean, and even like then they did like 4 kids level of censoring. it was quite a treat. Like when you get to the pirate world, some of the cutscenes like that they should be graphic because that's what Pirates was like to an extent, graphic. I think there was like one scene where what was it, like Davy Jones' heart is in a box, and then at one camera angle you can see inside the box, and there's nothing in there. There's literally nothing in the box. There's no heart in there.
Yeah.
Sony censorship has got the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more along.
Well, otherwise they'd have to put a giant white light over it.
That's right. Put a dress on it, it'd be okay then. No, I was thinking more along the lines. Like, I mean, I pulled this one out that I find some of the writing interesting. I agree with you. It's written for maybe an older audience too, some of it. But Zanhort, I think I'm saying that right. And he says,
"Say or not." I'm not saying not.
Excuse my knowledge.
Say or not, yeah.
Sorry. So again, I'm not sure his overall role that well in the series, but the quote comes up that someone says to him, I think Sora says to him, it could have been one of the 3 main party members. He says, "You're so caught up in the shadows, you've forgotten about the light that casts them." And I thought, like, that's a really, like, it's quite deep. And I quite enjoyed that one. And then there was another one in the Rapunzel world, sort of towards the end, where they're out on the water and the city puts up the flying lanterns or whatever else, and she's having a back and forth about this was, her whole life she's been waiting to see this, and the gist of it is what if it doesn't hold up to expectation, and she sort of ponders that, but then she immediately ponders the other side, and says, well, what if it does? What if I've been waiting for 18 years and this is my dream come true? And the dude says, yeah, but now you get to find a new dream. And I thought, like, these are like, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too soppy and you just pass over this stuff, but there's some really lovely writing in there. I don't know. Do you see that as well, or do you just think this more than normal video games? I think
sometimes it gets a bit too cheesy. I don't know, for me.
You're allowed to say that.
Like in that Rapunzel world.
Yeah.
That ending.
I think I think one good way to look at it is whenever you read like lines from Kingdom Hearts, whenever they say heart, replace it with soul, and it makes more sense, because basically whenever they say heart, they're basically just meaning soul.
So that's a good.
It just makes you understand what they're saying a lot more.
Yeah.
It's just like their cheesy way of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've gotten hearing it so often, I kind of just automatically link that in my mind at this point.
I mean, there's some good humor in it as well. I mean, the horse in that world, there's a scene where right at the end where they all jump on him to race to the tower, and the poor horse just like buckles over, and his facial expression is fantastic. And then he stands up and he takes off. So there's a lot of, and I mean, there was another one too in the toy world. Toy Story world where the little green, I love them, the little green soldiers or whatever else, and one of them gets injured out on the recovery mission, and he's sort of limping and he's helping him, and he just sort of says to him, it's all right, soldier, your tour is over. And it's just, I don't know, there's a lot of, I mean, it's obviously a bit too soppy for you too, but there's a lot of really cute moments in there. You see why it takes me forever to finish anything.
When you mention Kingdom Hearts humor, all I can think about is, well, obviously you haven't played it, but there was like a scene in Kingdom Hearts 2 where like Goofy died.
Oh.
And I that was like the funniest thing to me, because it was like so serious and sad.
Yes, yeah. No.
Oh man, I'm never gonna forget that. That's like my favorite moment in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean
that's my humor.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah. But the music as well. I mean, it's all over the top in some of the scenes.
Oh, the music's fantastic.
Yes, yeah. I was going to ask though, like you touched on it really briefly, but we didn't. So when you're in these instant or these little battles or whatever, as you're going around the map, the music obviously intensifies, and then the music basically stops at the end of the battle, and then segues back into the whatever the base music is for the world.
Happy music.
Yeah. How do you feel about that as a mechanic? Do you like that?
I think it transitions.
Yeah, I think a lot of games do that.
Yeah. You don't find it like breaks the immersion a little bit, like doesn't
not as much, because
I think I like it better.
Okay.
Yeah. I only think like the music from the attractions like break the immersion just because it's not fitting to the fight. I don't know, like, because you that could be like some epic boss battle music going on, and then like you'll go on an attraction, then it's just like cheery bells and everything, and then it really just takes away from like the feeling.
Yeah, but I think I would rather run around a world where there's like slightly happier music or slightly more world music, and then when a game, it would change to more dramatic music.
Yeah. And then I had another question too. So you're doing these little battles, and obviously they don't end until all the little guys are dead. Do you find that sometimes the little guys get stuck somewhere, or they're like behind a tree, or like they're not really in the battle, and so you're just running around like? Does that happen to you, or is that just to me that happens?
No.
if that happens, I just cast lightning and they typically die.
Oh, okay, that's how.
But that's basically what happens.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how you just play Kingdom Hearts 3 anyway, right? Just run around and cast lightning all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Add a mana, just spam X.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll expand my spamming to include lightning now as well. Excellent. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that probably would have come in handy, because I did have a little bit of trouble with one of the bosses, like, was it the UFO boss or something? I couldn't get onto him. He kept moving. But I think that was a cloud stepping issue as well. I refused to use that mechanics. Yeah, the lightning probably might have helped me there. Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's a very brief sort of thing. And is there anything else you'd like to say about this game? Like,
I mean, I could talk about this for like 10 years, and I don't really think that the podcast is going to be that long. So,
Oh wow, he has faith in us. I mean, well, 10 years is a long time. Yeah, I mean, well, how about like like some closing thoughts on the game? Yeah, would you recommend it to other people? Like, what do you think?
Clothing thoughts. Sora's shoes are very big, and that's my clothing thought.
That's your closing thoughts.
To close it.
My closing thought is basically I would strongly recommend, like, even if you haven't played the previous ones, like, the story may be a bit jumbled, but obviously each world has its own sort of story. It's not that hard to get into. The combat's really, really fun. All you have to do is spam X. It's not too hard. You can get into that. What I really hope in the future for it is that, like, just the DLC is really redeeming. Maybe it has a new world, as critical. I just hope that it makes, like, it brings difficulty back, like the hard difficulty that, like, the fans enjoyed.
That seems great. And I did think of one more thing to ask. I completely forgot. Is there any trophy in the game that's particularly challenging or people should focus on from the beginning, or is it pretty much straight?
I guess synthesis is like the hardest one.
But it's not hard.
Even then, yeah. Well, it's not hard.
I don't think there's anything hard.
I guess it's not really. Yeah, there's not really anything hard. Yeah. Maybe some of the minigame stuff, like some people struggled with some of like the minigame stuff scores, like the one in Toy Story when you're in a mech. I think a lot of people struggled on that.
Oh, there is that.
But besides that, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Yeah, perfect. And my thoughts, as I said, I haven't finished yet, but if you're thinking about it and you enjoy Disney stuff, I definitely think it's worth it. And I'll leave you with what I sort of finished up with last night, which I thought was great, but these two are going to think it's totally soppy and stupid. I am sure there's a wonderful dancing mini game in the Rapunzel world where you get to, it's just button prompts, and you get to dance with the villagers, and I thought that was fantastic. And I really hope there's an option to replay that, not have to play the whole game to do that again. I assume there probably isn't.
No, you have to play. You have to replay it because there's a trophy for a high score in that.
Oh, good. Because
I did like that mini game. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Yeah. I thought it was fantastic. So unexpected to come up.
You can just play that forever. Perfect. CJ. Become a master.
Well, it's this is why it takes me so long with these games, because I hear these lines and then I stop and go, I wish I could rewind and do that again, because that was awesome. Yeah, anyway, no, I think there's a good chance I will finish it, but I will not play it, most likely. So that was good. That was a good talk on that. Shall we move across to the spam of the week?
All right, spam of the week.
It almost feels bad to do this after that.
I got the game list. I got this snooker thing up here.
So Pelzio, basically what we're doing is we're just pulling games we think will be very easy trophy games or whatever else. So just from the list of stuff. So if you see anything there, just throw it out.
Oh God, these all look easy.
That's why I said, oh man. All right, so I don't know if we had Super Weekend Mode. We already talked about this. Yes. We got more stacks of it that came out. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I don't know if we have to touch on that anymore.
No, that's fine.
Cross by Powgy. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get more of these. I know this company has more versions. This one has already 100% completion on it. 6 out of 6. But yeah, this will be easy, and there'll be 4 stacks of it because that's what we need, or that's what they do.
Oh God, back in 1995 is definitely. Well, I'm pretty sure it's all gold trophies and 1 silver. I feel like this is going to be some sort of easy plat, and it's for the Vita. If it's coming out for the Vita.
Oh, sorry, that's a game.
No, I'm not saying back. I'm not that old.
That you were referencing. Go on, say it. Finish that sentence. You're not. Go on.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, go on. Unbelievable. Well, some of us are. Some of us remember 1995. Yeah, well,
anyway, even if you were, you probably don't remember too much from back then.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, what else have we got?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably a pretty easy one too.
Caravan Stories.
Caravan Stories is like 100% free to play. Probably you 30 minutes to do.
Yeah, there's a guide for that.
Free. So, man, this list is so like. Nothing. Unlock a post, turn a beast into an ally, complete 10 battles, gather 10 materials, clear 10 quests, and turn 3 heroes into allies and story quests. Done. But, it is an MMO. So maybe they just continue to add DLC and it plagues everyone that added this to their list just for the Is
Oh, I see.
Furwind is not. It's not spam. Like I actually kind of look forward to it, but it looks very easy. Looks like I watched the trailer of the gameplay. It looks like there's not as much fighting as I would have liked. There's like not many enemies. It's more just platforming puzzles and like bosses. At least from the glimpses I saw of it. But at least you got to finish the game and rescue all the prisoners and get all the upgrades and stuff. So you actually do have to play it, which that makes the game more fun. Arcade Archives may be easy. Like some of those are easy. Well, looks like the completion percentage on this is like pretty high. Of course, who knows?
That one takes about an hour and a half, so it's a little bit longer than many of the arcade ones. Yeah, but still not difficult.
What else do we got?
We've got the tarot reading premium as well. So if you can take an drawn limit on your account, or extension on the mortgage of your house, so you can afford that game, then that'll be an easy 100% at a ridiculous price, no doubt. There's usually 2 stacks of those games. Maybe they just fine.
Yeah, they had 2. I think we talked about it last week. Yeah, there wasn't too many games in total that got released. I think the Falcon Age looks pretty easy list-wise.
Yeah, I started that.
I mean, I don't think it's
the problem with
super short, but
that is it is in first person, so it plays a lot like Suicide Guy and those games. So if you don't like that, I would avoid it. It's about 10 hours, so it's not super short, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, there's not too much this week.
No.
Just in general, lists in general, I don't see much of.
Yeah. So there'll be no 50 plats this week for you.
Well, I mean, I still got a backlog of rat games though.
That's true.
150 plats in a month is 100 plats a week probably possible.
Yeah. Perfect. So we'll leave the spam there, I think, and we'll just sort of wrap up with what everyone's going to play this week. So, Unknown, what's your next game? You look like you're ready for a new game.
I am, and I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I did get Far Cry New Dawn shipped to me.
Oh, fantastic.
I guess first-person shooter fan, but I'll play that one.
It's quite good, yeah. Excellent. And Pelzio, you're continuing on with Hitman and Beat Saber?
Mostly Hitman probably, and I'll wait until like my arms are not dead, and then go back to Beat Saber and kill my arms again, and then stop playing it.
It's a vicious cycle. I like it. Yeah, good. So something for all of us. So unless there's anything anyone else wants to say, we might wrap it up there. Now, what I'm going to do, listeners, if you've made it this far with us, I'm actually going to impose on Unknown and Pelzio to hopefully join me again on the flip side of this for about half an hour to add to our episode for the following week. So the following week, we're going to finally put in the Mindy guide episode as well, and we're going to put a little filler in before it. There is a chance that episode might come out a bit late because I'm going to upload it to SoundCloud where we push all our stuff from and try and get it to do it automatically. So hopefully that one will be out, but this one will definitely be out on the normal time. Yeah, so that's sort of what's happening. So has anyone got anything else they want to throw in just before we wrap out today?
What about our Spalton talk?
Unless you want to.
Oh, yes.
No.
What is that?
No, we don't have to go into that story.
Why don't we say that? Yeah, good. Okay. Perfect. So, Pelzio, if we're trying to find you, where can we find you? I know you stream and stuff, so what's the best way?
Twitch.tv/Pelzio or Twitter/Pelzio. I think that's the only 2 places which I use like really actively.
Excellent. Good. And Unknown, where can we find you?
Same places, but we replaced the Pelzio with Mr. Unknown 625.
Excellent. Good.
He's stealing my social media.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're trying to find the podcast, obviously we are on YouTube, iTunes, Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and a hot tip from someone to put us on Stitcher Radio. So I did that as well. So we're everywhere. There's no excuse now. I know we've lost our dislikers. It's a burden that I'm going to have to live with, but hopefully they will be back. They've taken 2 weeks off, so they should be back to work. But
did we not get dislikes?
I know,
last episode?
yeah, they've left us.
Whoa.
I know, it's a shame. But if you do want to like us, or if you do want to throw a comment or something out there, only if you do, obviously, please do. It will help us reach new people. And I think that's everything for today. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Pelzio.
No problem.
And thank you, Mr. Unknown.
All right, see you, everybody.